The pharynx, located in blue right here, and the esophagus, in pink, serve merely as a passageway for food from the mouth to the stomach.
In order to send food from the mouth to the stomach, it must first be compacted by the tongue into a bolus and then swallowed. Food can be anything from pizza to ice cream to a donut. A bolus is a ball-like mixture of food and saliva that forms during the process of chewing.
The bolus then travels through the esophagus. A previously closed muscle now opens its 10-inch long pathway since food is on its way. The esophagus, located right here, and the food that just entered runs through the thorax to the tip of the diaphragm, right here, at the esophagus, hiatus to the abdomen. Finally, it touches the stomach at the cardiac orifice.
The epiglottis is a small leaf-shaped piece of cartilage that covers the glottis, medial to the pharynx and trachea. Its job is to cover the air passageway so that food isn't accidentally inhaled. You might not even notice it unless food or water enters the windpipe because the epiglottis wasn't doing its job.
Deglutition is another name for swallowing. It involves activity over 22 separate muscle groups. Deglutition consists of two major phases. One phase, the buccal phase. The second phase is the pharyngeal esophageal phase.
The first major phase is the buccal phase. This phase is voluntary, meaning that you consciously control it, and it also occurs in the mouth. During this phase, we place the top of our tongue against a hard palate and contract the tongue to force the bolus into the oropharynx, then the larynx, both sections of the pharynx. As food enters the pharynx, tactile receptors are stimulated, passing it into involuntary reflex activity. Once food enters the pharynx, all routes except one into the digestive tract are blocked off.
The next major stage of deglutition is the pharyngeal esophageal phase, an involuntary process, meaning one cannot control it, or it's subconsciously controlled, by the medulla and lower pons, or the swallowing center. Externally, two skeletal muscle layers contract, pushing food along. Motor impulses from swallowing center are transmitted by cranial nerves to the muscles of the pharynx and esophagus. Food is then squeezed through the pharynx into the esophagus through wave-like peristaltic contractions. The gastroesophageal sphincter relaxes before the peristaltic wave reaches the end of the esophagus, allowing food to enter the stomach.
Peristalsis is the slow-moving process of food down the esophagus. It takes about 7 seconds, and you could be upside down, laying down, or underwater and still be able to swallow because of this process. Muscles behind the food are contracted in order to squeeze the food through. Muscles in front of the food, however, are relaxed, so food is able to pass through.
Here's a visual representation of what this looks like for the bolus moving through the muscle contractions.